What's going on, guys? Hornote606 here, once again bringing you another figure from the toy collection. This time we are looking at the Hasbro's Lightning Collection Gold Zero Ranger from the Zero Ranger Power Rangers series. And if you're lucky enough, this is the second release of this particular figure. The first time it was released was a 2-pack with the Red Ranger that was a little bit more difficult to get your hands on because it was more of an exclusive event. Some online retailers were selling it, if you managed to get it, then great. If not, here is your second chance. Just like the Red Ranger had a single release, the gold one gets a second release as well. So there are a few differences between this and the other 2-pack release, but I'll go over everything. Overall, I do like the Lightning Collection. I think Hasbro has done very well, and the Gold Zero Ranger is again a very well done figure. Here is the head. This is the head that the figure comes with, as well as the tray of Trifoil head, as you can see. In terms of accessories, we have the energy effect, which pretty much comes with most of the figures, different types of energy effects. Here's another one to add to your collection. It does come with some alternative hands as well. He comes with 2 fist hands, and he also comes with clenching hands to hold the staff as well. Also the staff as well, which I'll get into in a little bit. You did get that with the 2-pack. The 2-packs, you got 2 staffs, 2 different versions of the staff. This one you only get 1. However, there is something a little bit unique with this particular staff, but I'll go over that. That's most of the things it comes with. The open palm hand, it does not come with, I must state. That is, I've taken it from another Power Ranger figure that came with the open palm hand. That's one of the things I do like about this particular line of figures, is a lot of the hands are interchangeable because they look exactly the same. And here we have a closer look at the Gold Zero Ranger. So obviously this is the alternative head. This is the tray of Trifoil, who was the, I guess, the original Gold Zero Ranger before the power was passed on to Jason and then passed back again. Details on the figure are fantastic. I think for the price point, I think they've done very well. Articulation we got onto later, but again, if you've had any of these figures from the Lightning Collection, you know what you're getting from the articulation, and it is probably one of the best out there for its price point. I love the little details. I love the paint applications. Not too many problems that I've noticed. Mostly in the gold. Gold seems to be a little bit different in different places, but apart from that, it's okay. So I think they've captured the Gold Ranger perfectly, to be honest. I don't see really any issues with the figure or anything that's not screen accurate. I think they've done very well. In terms of the Ranger helmet, I don't really see too many problems. When I compared it to the other figure, the first release, which I do have, and I'll show you that a little bit later in the video, the gold does seem to be better on this version compared to the old version, which is quite surprising because the gold on the shield and other parts of the body on this version is probably worse than it was on the original release, I find, but I'll show you that in a bit. But yeah, this figure does have that kind of neck problem, but I find that once I start posing it and turning the neck and having it in certain positions, I quickly kind of forget about the neck problem. But it is a common thing that this series does have, where the neck kind of sits too low for whatever reason. Not all figures have that problem. They seem to have fixed it with some figures, then in other figures they haven't done it. But again, you know, they've captured all the nice details around the shield. That's all nice. I'm happy with the kind of color of the gold. Some people may not be happy. They probably would prefer a much more gold looking shield, but that's unlikely to happen. But then again, one of the Beast Morphers figures, I think they did a perfect kind of gold color for that, so I'm not quite sure why they couldn't do it for other figures that also have gold on it as well. But anyway, as you can see, I'm messing around with the articulation here. So obviously the head can look up and down slightly, not much. It can also rotate. Arms can lift up, can rotate all the way around should you so wish to do so. Up and down, there's a twist at the upper bicep there, double elbow hinges as well. The hand can rotate, and there's also a hinge as well to move it backwards and forwards. So nothing that you haven't seen before. We've got the diaphragm joint, which works very nicely. You will see that in some of my images as well. You can also see me doing it here. Also in combination with the ab crunch, works very nicely. So can bend quite forward, not so much backwards. I'm finding. I think the shield hinders it at the back, so it stops it from bending all the way backwards. I don't want to push it too much. There's no real need for me to do that. But yeah, I've always liked this kind of diaphragm ab crunch joint. It always worked nicely. Legs can move forward, can't really move back very much, or not at all, because of the I guess the back butt piece of the figure stops it from doing that. There is a upper twist at the upper part of the thigh. Legs can move outwards around about that much, maybe a little bit more if you push it. Okay, of course, double knee joints as well, they work nicely. You do have ankle joint here, ankle tilt as well, it's on the hinge. Also the lower part of the leg can actually twist as well, which is something I didn't actually notice before on the original release, mainly because it's covered up by this kind of armor piece there. But yeah, it can actually turn as well. And it's a joint that I've never actually really used, to be honest, but it is there. So for those of you that love your posing, again, this is the Hasbro Lightning Collection. If you've been collecting, you know what you're getting into. Articulation is pretty much the same across the board, and if you're very creative with your posing and stuff like that, then you definitely know what you're getting yourself into. You won't be disappointed. Okay, so what we have here is both versions of the Gold Zyuranger, but before we look at that, here's all three staffs. So the two on the left is from the 2-pack release, and both of these forms we saw on the TV show. That's pretty much both what they look like. One of them slightly bent for some strange reason. I'm gonna have to fix that. But yeah, there was no issues here with these. I think they've sculpted it and painted quite nicely. Same with this one, sculpted and painted quite nicely. They've got all the details. The only thing is, this particular version of the staff was never in the show. At no point did it really ever look like that. Maybe in the comic books, I don't know, I don't read those, but I've never seen this particular version of the staff, so that's, I guess, kind of unique. So going back to the two figures, the one on the left is the new release with a duller looking grey, and the one on the right is the original 2-pack release. Both figures are exactly the same in terms of articulation, the character it's based on, everything. The paint applications in terms of the gold is a little bit different, as you can clearly see. I much prefer the one on the right in terms of the gold application compared to the one on the left. That's my personal preference. I think the one on the left is a bit too dull from the newer version. Also, you can clearly see that the gold is slightly different. So if you look at the shield and then look at the arm bracelets and the lower bracelets on the lower part of the leg, the gold is different. It kind of actually does match the original release. I think it's more just the shield that the gold is very different. Also, the gold on the helmet, strangely enough, on the newer version there's more gold on the helmet, but on the old version the gold on the helmet it's barely there, to be honest. You can barely see it. On the left it stands out, on the right it doesn't at all. So interesting enough, they both have their ups and downs. I guess you could just interchange the heads. It won't make a difference. But yeah, that's quite interesting. I kind of wish that they would just give us, the gold that we just want, because they do it with some figures and then don't do it with others. I don't understand, but that's where we are. Apart from that, there isn't any other major differences. They both have that neck problem. If you're looking at it like this, it kind of looks like they've got no neck. Their head just sits down too far. But apart from that, I think they've done a great job. I've always liked the Hasbro Lightning Collection. I continue to collect it. I think I've picked up pretty much every Ranger that's been released so far. It's nice that they have a staff to go with it. It's nice that they had the Trio Triforia head instead of the Jason head that came with the 2-pack, so that's a nice added bonus to the single release. If you haven't picked it up already, here's your second chance to pick it up again. Now I think let's compare it to some other figures so we can get some scale and see what it looks like to some other Rangers within the collection. So here he is next to his other wave mate, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Blue Ranger. Here he is next to the awesome Ranger Slayer. A figure that I probably will take a look at as well. Probably create his own separate video and gallery for it as well. I like this Ranger Slayer very much. I think I much prefer it compared to the original Pink Ranger. I think there's just so much more going on with this figure, even though articulation is pretty much everything's the same. Articulation is the same similar kind of female body mod, but this one just works so much better. Anyway, here he is next to the Time Force Red Ranger, which is another wave mate, another awesome figure that they've done. Next up, we're going to look at Marvel Legends Dark Beast, and here he is next to Marvel Legends 3-pack Wolverine. And here he is next to Ultra Instinct Goku from SH Figuarts. And lastly, why not, Earthrise Optimus Prime. Anyway, that's all from me. I do like this figure. I'm glad that it's in my collection. I'm going to keep collecting this Hasbro Lightning collection. I look forward to what they're going to do next. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.